Hey everyone, just another video today for the Fiesta. We're going to be doing the rear wheel bearings on this one. So APD have been great again, they've sent out some new wheel bearings for this one. We've done the other side, we figured it all out, it's pretty easy. So we're going to be doing this side today, and like I said, we are employing the help of a garage for this one, so it's going to be like a 50-50. There's a garage down the road that's letting us borrow their press, because I think it's going to be pretty essential to getting the bearing out. But yeah, we're going to be doing the whole work here, and just taking the bearing there to get it out of the hub and the new one pressed in, and then back here again. So let's crack on with the work. Okay, so we've got the vehicle up, got it on the axle stands and the jack in the middle bit there. The first step for this one, we have removed the nuts from these already, so this disc is now going to be loose effectively. So that's going to be sort of one of the first bits you do. The next, we're going to be taking the carrier off, and we're going to do that by undoing the two 1/2-inch bolts that hold the carrier on. So there's one here and there's one at the bottom, and I'll show you that in a moment. That should let us remove all of this all in one go, and we're just going to use either a zip tie or a hook, and we're just going to hold it up onto this top bit up here, just to hold this out of the way. So once that's all held out of the way, this disc's going to slide off, and we have access then to remove the hub. It's a pretty quick job. I don't need help for this bit.
What? Oh, alright, okay, yeah. I'll show you today.
Right, that's that one loose. Yeah. There we go. There you go. Okay, so the two bolts were loosening off. Like I said, you've got the one carrier bolt here, just in behind the disc, and then the other one, if I come in underneath the car, wait for the camera to adjust, is this one here. So there's your caliper, and it's just that one there. So we're going to be loosening off this bottom one and the top one, taking them off, and then we can just hang, there we go, nice and easy.
Careful.
And then we can just hang this to support it. Okay, so what we've done, we've just put a bolt back into the carrier here, just this top one. So that's now holding that nice and secure. As you see there, the bolt comes through, we just tighten up a little bit. Disc just slides off, so the disc is only held on by those studs, obviously the nuts hold the wheels on, so that's all off now. And as you can hear,
Oh.
that is not a noise we want to hear.
That is over.
So that is not what you want. So yeah, that is not good. So next step is going to be removing this dust cap. Just punching in. There's normally a slight lip somewhere. If not, you just punch in a real thin screwdriver, pop it out, and then we'll have access to the nut to then pull this hub off. Okay, so we've got that centre cap out, just slowly prying it out with a sort of real thin flathead screwdriver. Got a 30mm high impact socket. That's going to slide in through there nicely, grip onto that, and we're going to undo it, and then we should be able to just pull this hub straight off. Lovely! And then hopefully, ta-da! That just comes out. So we are pretty much there now. Okay, so we need to get this off. Now this is your ABS speed sensor bit here, magnet. So you can see it's got the lip here. It's just got to very slowly push that off. And just sort of pry it off. Obviously try not to damage it, because if you damage that you are going to need to replace it, because like I said, that's your pickup for your ABS. So yeah, we're just going to slowly pry that off now. Okay, so that came off a lot easier. So I actually went to record a time lapse of us getting that off, but took 2 taps. So what we used was one of these, put it up against the edge, and then just tapped it up using a hammer. So that would go against there, tap that curved edge on the back side here with a hammer, and it just popped off. So that's that off. So that is now our bearing exposed. So we're going to get the circlip out, and then we should be ready to take it to the garage and get the bearing pressed out. So there was this inner ring here, that was obviously the inner seal of this bit. We just got that pry bar underneath it again and just popped it out, so that just pops out. In here we've got a load of crud, which is lovely to see, and buried in there somewhere will be a circlip. There's one edge there, and there's the other edge there. I'm just going to pull that circlip out now, and then the bearing is ready to be pressed. Okay, so I've just been down the local garage. I wasn't allowed to record inside the workshops, but they let me borrow the press to press in the bearing. So it's really good of them to do that, and I do strongly support that. You know, helping out local garages like that is a great way to do things. So, you know, just because you're doing the work yourself doesn't mean you can't go there and do certain bits. Gives them a few quid in the pocket, and it just helps both parties out then. But that's nicely pressed in now, so that's my new bearing in there, and I can see the circlip, well, the gap for the circlip. So next bit is just going to be popping the circlip in and getting it back on the car. So it's been a really nice, easy job so far. Ta-da! Nice new circlip in there. That's a nice new one that came in the kit as well, so it's nice that we can, you know, replace all of these bits with it. So that's that done. Let's get on to the next bit. Okay, so the hub is back on. Sorry, the camera didn't record, I don't know why. So the ABS plate just tapped back onto the back of it. That was easy enough. You just literally just slot it on top, tap it back on. This just slid on by hand. There is no sort of pressing it on. As you can hear, no noise, so that's good. So we're going to get the nut on there. It's initially 100 Newton meters. We then get all this back on, get the disc back on, get all that tight, and then we tighten it further up to 200. Well, we did 230 Newton meters. So 100 Newton meters, get it all then back together again, disc on, etc., and then 250 Newton meters. So we're going to go ahead and get the central bolt back in now, and then get it all tightened up.
No. Do it the other way around.
100 New Year's, spot on. Okay, so now I've got this torqued up to 100. If I spin this, no noise at all, so absolutely perfect. So we're going to get this bolt out, hold this up. I'm just going to slot the disc on with the spacers, get the nuts on there just so it's on there at least, and then we'll drop this back down over the top. Okay, so got the spacers back on and the discs obviously held in with these. We've done those up to 110. Got this back on by just doing those two carrier bolts again. Obviously that reattaches everything here. Those are up to sort of 65 Newton meters. We're now going to go ahead and do the central bit, and we're going to do that up to the 230 now. So there was the 100 before, we're now going to go to the 230. There we go, spot on. Okay, so that's it done up to 230 now. We've got the centre cap back in there, and you're done really. Got to get the wheel back on. Got the handbrake on now, but got to get the wheel back on. But other than that, that is the whole job done. Okay, so that's the whole job done. The car is back down now, and like I say, it was, you know, spinning like butter on there. Absolutely unbelievable, the difference. You know, it really goes to show you really need to listen out for these noises. Unfortunately, I don't have a recording of what it was like to drive with the sound, but it's like a sort of constant hum that sort of progressively gets worse. It's not linked to engine speed, so if you're going along at sort of 15, you're getting this loud hum. Push the clutch in, take it out of gear. Shouldn't coast on main roads, but hey. And it doesn't change, so the engine revs are changing and the hum is staying the same. So that's one thing to sort of look out for really with this. What you don't want to do is get it to the stage where they're wobbling, because on this I have a strong feeling that the wheel will just slide off with how it's all attached on there. So it's worth, you know, if you get that hum, take the wheel off, take the other bits off, the brakes off, etc., and just spin that hub. And like we were getting that sort of scratchy noise, if you're getting that, just replace it. Don't risk letting it get worse, etc. So huge thank you to APD, obviously, for getting that bearing out for me, and we did the other side as well. Like I said, with the track day coming up in a few weeks, it is absolutely essential to make sure that all of this is safe, not just for me but for other people. If I'm going to go on track, I don't want to risk other people or other vehicles or anything else. You know, it's just not worth it. Trying to hang on to these kind of things or putting it off because you think it's going to be difficult. I think in total that was about an hour and a half, and that included driving to the workshop to borrow their press. Took 5 minutes to press the bearing out, press the new one back in again, and you're done. So a huge thank you to them, and it's always worth doing it with a local garage like that. You know, support them out, you know, get a few quid, get some, you know, bit of tea and coffee fund. you know, and there's you know, just because I do my own work and I do this doesn't mean I can't also help out local garages that way. You know, I don't do this to spite garages, etc. I do it because I can and because it's worth teaching other people how to do it. But sometimes the equipment is necessary. You can get a bearing out without that, etc. It's just so much easier doing it that way. Spend a tenner, I think is all it cost me. Nipping down there, give them a tenner, press it out in 5 minutes, press the new one in. Because I'd frozen the bearing as well, it just dropped halfway in on its own with a bit of grease. Just it fell almost all the way in anyway. So sticking the bearing in the freezer beforehand helped out. Dropped it into the hub, pressed it the rest of the way in. You feel it sort of pop when it gets to the right point, and you can see the sort of circlip line around the inside. Dropped the circlip in and it was done. It was so easy, so much less stress as well. So yeah, strongly recommend doing it that way. But yeah, that is it. Hopefully helpful to someone doing this. You know, some people find wheel bearings a bit daunting, so I'm hoping that this helps people out and just shows that, you know, it is something you can do pretty quickly on your own, or with someone. You know, we had a bit of help today, just sort of doing bits and pieces, but you know, it's something you can do in an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. You know, borrowing a press from a garage if they're willing to let you do it. Even if they end up doing it themselves, it's only going to cost you 20 quid, I think, if you take them the hub. So yeah, probably blabbered on enough, but hey, huge thank you to APD, and that is how you do a wheel bearing on the back anyway.